Everyone, welcome back to Touch the Fire Twice. I'm Joshua, and I'm here today to do my in-depth sniff review of the HomeWorx by Slatkin & Co. Banana Daiquiri 18-ounce 4-wick candle. As you can see here, I do have it lit. It's actually sooting the tiniest bit, and the wicks are pretty viciously dancing around. This is probably my 4th or 5th burn on this. It's burning pretty cleanly overall, really great pull, solid throw, great performance in general. So just putting that right out there, as you can see, it's going healthy right now. This candle I purchased from QVC. It was, I believe, exclusive to QVC. Now, Banana Daiquiri isn't something I typically would have purchased. I think I like the idea of drink sort of cocktail fragrances, like a sparkling mojito from Slatkin & Co. years back was amazing. Certainly some sangria candles can be wonderful. Banana in general in wax is very hit or miss, and for me, usually a miss. So I wasn't, too sold on just the idea of it. And daiquiri, I was like, okay, what is that gonna be? It's gonna be very sweet, very creamy, artificial, not really sure. But figured, okay, let me give it a shot. It was getting good reviews. Just Shantae from Instagram, she highly recommended it and said that it was throwing well and that she really, really loved the scent. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll give it a shot. It's Slatkin & Co. It's Harry Slatkin. It's gonna be elevated in some form. So if anyone can do a Banana Daiquiri, I trust in Harry to be able to do it well. I surprised myself, I suppose, in how much I really like this. And part of it is because I have sort of twisted my expectations on it and become comfortable with something I didn't think I would like, if that makes sense. And so what I'll get into on that before I tell you, exactly what I think of the scent and why I sort of at first sniff didn't love it, and then when I changed my perspective of what it could be, then I really started to enjoy it a lot, and I've continued to enjoy it. This is the first one. I still have the second one from the duo that I have not burned yet. But just getting into it, so Banana Daiquiri, the notes from the candle are sweet banana, coconut froth, dark rum, and sugared musk. Now, the thing that's interesting about daiquiris and banana daiquiris, you don't hear much about banana daiquiris. Primarily, it's either just straight daiquiris or your strawberry daiquiris, the TGI Fridays, artificial red, artificial flavored, sloppy. It's just so sugary and so intense. There's a time and a place for it, don't get me wrong, but not something I typically go for in my life as like actually drinking it or in fragrance form. But what's so interesting, I think a lot of people don't realize about daiquiris, is it's actually a classic rum sour drink. Similar like the martini or margarita, it's developed into really like a sub-family of drinks. But the traditional daiquiri is literally light rum, lime juice, and simple syrup. So you can almost think of it like a margarita is to tequila, a daiquiri is to rum. It is a straightforward shaken drink, essentially. Now, there really are so many, again, sub-variations of that where you often see daiquiri as the frozen drinks that are still rum-based but have fruit added in and different types of flavors and things like that. So it's not out of the realm of normal to do something like banana daiquiri. But even then, you can have a shaken banana daiquiri or a frozen. So just to quickly show here sort of my thoughts going into it and what I could expect. So I think we're all expecting kind of a frozen banana daiquiri, like a creamy, almost like a pina colada with banana in it, as I think how many people would think of what this should be, especially because the note lists coconut froth. So like if you're doing a frozen banana daiquiri, you would likely use either coconut flavored rum or, cream of coconut or coconut milk in there to give your creamy coconut flavoring. Probably fresh banana at that point, lime, maybe some triple sec, and sugar. That would be maybe your frozen. If you're going to do a daiquiri that's more in the shaken traditional non-frozen realm, you would likely use your aged rum, lime juice, and like a raw sugar syrup, like a demerara sugar that's just a little bit more of that raw kind of molassesy brown flavor to it versus your traditional granulated white sugar crystals. And then rather than using fresh banana, you would use a banana liqueur. And so going into this, I wasn't sure like, okay, if it's banana daiquiri, they just say sweet banana. Is it a sweet banana liqueur or is it actually a fresh banana? Because if this is a frozen daiquiri, then there's a good chance that this like your creamy cream of coconut or coconut milk with your fresh banana mixed in there. And so that's what I was almost kind of hoping, because in wax, bananas oftentimes come across just as like artificial runts candy, Airheads, Laffy Taffy, just that artificial banana flavor, because it's so difficult to get an authentic banana in synthetic representations of it, because obviously there's not going to be, an essential oil from a true banana. And so coming into it, I was like, okay, so I'm thinking it's going to be more of like, think of a pina colada, so like fresh banana, tropical with that rum in there, etc. And when I first took a sniff of it, I was like, okay, I thought it did lean a little bit more toward kind of the artificial banana. Where my perspective shifted was, okay, really not so much artificial necessarily, but not a fresh meat of a banana, thrown into a blender with your coconut rum to make a creamy frozen banana daiquiri, but like, okay, what if it's actually a little bit more like the shaken banana daiquiri, or at least in the sense that it's a banana liqueur that's used versus fresh banana. And so when I thought of it that way, I was like, okay, that changes things, because banana flavored liqueurs often are made in France, and it's called crème de banane. And they're based on a neutral alcohol flavored with an extract made from a distillation and infusion of bananas sweetened with sugar. Of course, many of the cheaper, the schnapps that are likely artificially flavored, like your Run's Candy, but there are higher end crème de banane liqueurs that are actually based on a distillation of a true authentic banana. So I've never, to my knowledge, tasted that, but I'm very interested in it because I do like the idea of banana, especially if it's going to be the liqueur versus just throwing in a sweet banana to make your drink creamy and such. All that to say, sniffing it, so that when I first sniffed it, I was like, oh man, that's some artificial banana. No, I think it's just perhaps, let's call it banana liqueur versus a freshly chopped banana thrown into a blender. The coconut froth is interesting, and I have my second one here, so I'm gonna smell it behind the camera. There certainly is coconut in this. Now, a traditional daiquiri would not have coconut. A traditional banana daiquiri wouldn't have coconut, but you certainly can add coconut, either as coconut rum or cream of coconut or coconut froth. Imagining coconut froth is not gonna be your sweetened cream of coconut. Now here's the difference. There's coconut cream, which is basically like a higher fat content of coconut milk. So still like the natural coconut itself, just with different levels of fat, almost like heavy cream versus, whole milk versus skim milk. Then you have the cream of coconut, which is oftentimes what's going to be in your pina coladas. Many of your alcoholic beverages are going to have cream of coconut, which is a heavily sweetened, oftentimes I believe still natural coconut in the ingredients, but heavily sweetened versus your coconut milk or your coconut creams. So all that to say, coconut froth, I believe, is not the sweetened cream of coconut, but probably get coconut cream or just a full fat, can of coconut milk, and you can froth it. And that's, put that on your cold brew as, coconut cold foam, whatever you want to use it for. But I think that's sort of the vibe I get in here, because it is a very straightforward and not overly sweet coconut. And it's not overpowering. Coconut can be overwhelming and lean, sunscreen kind of coconuts, so the tropical coconuts. And I like this because it's a little bit more of a neutral, creamy coconut. The dark rum, that definitely makes sense, and I do get that in here. And the dark rum specifically, your aged rums really tend to have sort of, because they're aged in typically oak barrels, the oak will really introduce flavors like vanilla, caramel, almost sometimes like baking spices, or just a richness, a depth that your unaged rums, your fresher, white rums that are just gonna be kind of grassier or fruitier notes because they're not aged in these barrels that introduce all these unique qualities to the rum. I do think that's in here, but also when they say the sugared musk, I go back and forth. I don't know if I truly am getting like a musk scent in here. A sheer sugared musk is going to be very light, but it's going to bring a little bit of that depth, that warmth, whether it leans towards like an amber, kind of like an animalic scent, or just a bit of a resinous. I don't get much of that sort of muskiness in here. In fact, it wouldn't shock me if most of the vibe of the richness, that depth that they're calling the sugared musk, could almost come from like the aged rum. So all that to say, they work very well together. The banana is certainly there. Again, the thing that shifted my perspective on this, that made me enjoy it more, was thinking, okay, so this is banana liqueur. I'm not trying to get a fresh banana, and banana liqueur is gonna smell a little bit different. It's the coconut froth. You're not getting as intense of a coconut flavor as you would if it was just, the coconut cream put in there. And I almost, when I first realized, okay, those are the types of notes they are. It's not just throw in a blender with some, cream of coconut sweetness, a fresh banana, and some rum. It's not like in that vibe so much in my mind. I almost went even a little bit further to say, like, is it not even necessarily a beverage? And that's probably a bit extreme of an assessment, because I think most people would smell this and say, no, it smells like a beverage. But to me, almost like a conceptual banana daiquiri, in the sense that because there may be some of that sugared musk in there, it's a little bit more versus, you know, there can be candles that are straight up, you know, this is a sparkling mojito and it smells just like a sparkling mojito tastes. Then you can have scents that are more reminiscent of or kind of the accord-based version and conceptualize that sort of thing. So it can be a fragrance that evokes the idea of, but that's not the only thing you're smelling. It's more so what I get here is, this is almost, think of like a private tropical resort that you're at, and they're making banana daiquiris, and so you're getting that banana liqueur, you're getting some of that froth coconut that's sitting there on the bar, you know, the outdoor bar next to your swim pool or your lagoon, and you have that rum in there, maybe a rum floater. And the sugared musk there, obviously you wouldn't have something musky in the cocktail, but it's almost the sense that that could be the scent that you're getting something more musky from other things that are in the resort around you, whether it's a botanical or a floral or something that is not typically considered edible, it sort of around you. So for me, what turned me from not, you know, disliking to liking to almost loving the scent is to go from the expectation of, oh, it's gonna smell like a creamy, you know, banana colada. No. Okay, it's gonna be a banana liqueur, a natural coconut, slightly sweet cocktail, to then saying, okay, that could be, but maybe it's just the concept of banana daiquiri at a resort. So not the drink itself, but the experience of having the drink and where you might be transported to on this, you know, luxury resort that has other scents as well. Not going as far to throw in florals or something like that, but just the concept of, it's not just, hey, I'm whipping this up in my kitchen. I am somewhere that I'm transported with the scent. So that's almost, you know, that's maybe a bit of a stretch. I don't know if anyone would agree with that, but that's kind of the vibe the candle gives me. And when I burn it, that's what I get as well. Now, I will say, first sniff on cold, I'm getting that artificial banana, but again, whether this is like, I'm giving myself self-marketing, I'm getting it more as a banana liqueur, which works for me. But then when you're lighting it and the depth of the rum or the sugared musk comes out and just plays with the coconut, just goes a little bit more towards the background there, it is, in my mind, actually more a conceptual candle, which I'm a big fan of. Conceptual candles that take you and transport you somewhere else with your scent memory. So overall, a surprising winner for me. Didn't expect it, really enjoying it. Right now, as of filming at least, it's listed as waitlist only on QVC. That tends to not always be the greatest sign because that means limited stock and they might get some back in, but hard to say if or when. But I do think it seemed to have been fairly popular, so hopefully if we don't see it back this season, we may see it in future seasons or coming to the HomeWorx.shop website as well. All very TBD. I hope this review helped. Let me know what you think, if you've ever had banana daiquiris, either frozen or shaken, or both or neither, and what this candle does for you. Let me know any questions, and until next time, take care.